I'd like to welcome everyone to the city of Palatka. Can't hear me? It's blue. Can you hear me now? We'd like to welcome everyone to the city of Palatka, February 11, 2021 commission meeting. At this time, we're going to have our Pledge of Allegiance, an invocation by Pastor Alonzo Mulberry. Will everyone please stand with me for the pledge and the invocation? Pastor Mulberry.
Yes, sir. Father, we give you praise and glory and honor. Thank you this day and
Pledge
for this
allegiance
too.
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands,
Amen.
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. God bless you.
Now have our invocation.
Can you hear me?
Pastor Mulberry, if you can hear me, we're going to have our invocation at this time.
We hear him.
Okay. God bless you. Father, we thank you
If
once
not,
again.
Mr. Killebrew, will you go ahead and lead us in invocation?
Can you hear me?
Father, we thank you for this meeting tonight. We just ask that you bring wisdom and knowledge to it, Father. Bless it, Father. These hands can be used to make our city better. I pray that all wisdom and knowledge is used on this. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen.
Can you all hear us?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Campbell, I can hear you, but it doesn't sound like the commissioners can. I'm gonna walk in there and tell them.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
I want to, can you hear me, Commissioner Campbell?
I'm on too. I was on. Can you anybody hear me?
We can hear you,
Pastor
Pastor.
Mulberry?
We can hear you.
Campbell, can y'all hear me too?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay,
Commissioner McCaskill, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. We'll call roll call. Mayor Hill,
Here.
Commissioner Borum,
Present.
Commissioner Jones,
Present.
Commissioner McCaskill,
Here,
Commissioner Campbell.
Present.
That concludes roll call.
Okay, moving forward to approval of minutes. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from January 28th?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
aye, aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next up is public comment. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. No action will be taken on topics of discussion. If you're here for public comment, you can dial 386-329-0100, extension 0, or you can come forward, fill out a speaker's card, or you can put something in the YouTube chat. At this time, I'm going to call Ms. Dana Jones from the Chamber of Commerce. If you would come forward at this time. Ms. Julie, you want to join her? Just 1 second. Yeah, you can. You just give her the mic.
Thank you. I'm Dana Jones, Putnam County Chamber. It's an honor to be here and good evening to everyone. I wanted to kind of jump over here on day 1 of the Vasily event. To tell you that we've had a great first day. City of Palatka is just looking awesome. It's beautiful. And the city employees that have been on the ground helping us are tremendous. I can't tell you enough what a great job they have all done. I'm not going to try and name them. There's just too many and I'm too tired and I don't want to forget anyone. But every single employee has impacted everybody in a positive way that is here for this event. We've had many compliments on the city and we just appreciate so much the partnership we have so we can make events like this happen. The CEO of Bass was here on the ground yesterday and a little bit today. And he remarked again what a great city we have and how fortunate They feel that Palatka is such a great host for them. So I just really didn't want to miss an opportunity because y'all don't meet again for a couple of weeks. And I just wanted to bounce over here from the River Center and let y'all know how great it's going. The crowd was very well behaved. Everybody was masked out and social distance. We didn't have any issues. And I want to remind everybody that comes down tomorrow to please remember when you come into the venue, the social distance, and we encourage them to wear masks. Again, I just want to brag over and over, and I can't do it enough on the support we've had from the employees of the city of Palatka and yourselves in helping us get where we are today with this national event. And as all of you know, this is their first event on Fox Sports Network. So Palatka, they're going to have promotions running tomorrow leading up to the first airing Saturday morning at 8 o'clock and Sunday morning at 8 o'clock on Fox Sports 1. You can also stream the tournament live at bassmaster.com for the duration until Sunday. Again, I just want to say thank you and compliment you and tell you how great your employees are and how much we appreciate you.
And so, Ms. Jones, we definitely appreciate you taking the time out to come in here. We also want to give you kudos for the work that the chamber and also TDC does as it relates to this event, and also the work from our community partners and our business leaders who get up at 4 a.m. to go out and park these boats. Folks like Ed Killebrew, who are out there on a regular basis. Every time I go, it rains or something bad happens. And so I'm going to stay away as much as I can because last year we got all that bad stuff. But I'll tell you, just to see the commitment to parking and be out there in the morning, just to see just the work that's done from people who get out of their bed, just to do that because they love Palatka. It's awesome. And then to hear the responses from the participants from the fishing tournament as a whole, it's just awesome. And we just thank you for the work that you've done. We thank you for just continually pushing forward the Bassmaster Elite Tournament and also being committed to this. And so we also thank you for working closely with our staff as well. Kudos out to our Community Affairs Department, Public Works, and for the work that they've done in making sure that this thing goes off without a hitch.
They were absolutely included in my comments about all the employees. They really were. They've been an awesome group of people to work with. And again, we just couldn't do it with all that help.
Right.
And the volunteers that we have on the ground, you're right, I should have acknowledged them. We have about 20, but they're headed up by Taylor Douglas, Greg Bacon,
Right.
and Steve Overthorpe. And then they round up the 20 friends and families, and they get it done and they start early. It's been a long day.
Also, kudos to PPD and to the fire department for the work that they do as well. Saw Chief out this morning doing inspections. And so again, we just thank everybody. Any comments from the commission?
Yes, I'd like to add a comment. I'd really like to thank Dana Jones and the Chamber of Commerce, TDC, and Bassmaster Elite for helping make Palatka be a destination that they want to come and help improve our economic development. I certainly appreciate that. And I'd like to thank everybody else for all the work that they helped put in from the staff for helping making this event a success.
Thank you very much.
All right, absolutely.
Anyone else?
Thank you, Ms. Jones, for all you guys do. And I did all the sentiments.
Anyone else? Any other comments? All right. Again, thanks a lot. And thanks for taking time out to come in here. So great job. Is there anyone else here for public comment? Do we have anything in the YouTube chat?
Nothing in the chat at this time, Mayor.
We don't have anything on the phone. So what we're going to do at this time is we're going to close public comment. Public comment at this time is closed. We're going to move to item 4 of the agenda, which is the consent agenda. We got items A through D on the consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda that you wish to have removed at this time? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
There's a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion?
I believe staff was going to remove items A and B from the consent agenda. I don't know if Mr. Griffith is able to unmute his mic.
Yeah. Items A and B items A and B are removed. Commissioner Borum, do you want to restate your motion? We didn't get the documentation in for those items yet.
Okay, I'll rescind my initial motion and I'll restate my new motion by excluding items A and B on the consent agenda and approving C and D.
I'm sorry. Is there a second?
I second the amended motion.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to our regular business, determination of 501. Before we do that, I've got Miss Higginbotham on the phone, who has also always helped us out with our executive searches. Want to make sure we acknowledge you, and we look forward to working with you again.
Honorable Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioners, thank you for inviting me to work in your city again. It was a pleasure. What was that, over a year ago? And we will find your next finance director.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we definitely appreciate you again, working diligently on helping us find our executives as necessary. We often hope that we don't need you, but when we do, we're glad to have you on the team.
Thank you.
So next up is item 5, determination of 501c3 organization to nominate Northeast Florida League of Cities funds. And Commissioner Borman, if you could just give us an overview again for those who aren't familiar.
Well, basically the 501(c)(3), they had additional funds available. This is the first time that the Northeast Florida League of Cities is doing this particular thing. They had some extra monies in their coffers. So once we met for the first time this year in January, they put together something to say, okay, well, for all the people who are on the board, if you have any 501(c)(3)s in your area that you would like to submit for the possibility of receiving funds, please have them to send their information in, their 501(c)(3) status, a little bit about the organization, and their contact information, website, whatever it may be. So, I mean, that's basically the gist of it. They didn't give an amount because everything was still in the process of development. I won't know anything until the next meeting.
Okay.
January 18th. I mean, no, February 18th, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Borman, is that the deadline to get the 501(c)(3) to respond?
No, well, I need them by the 12th. And so I can send the information to them.
I thought that we had to have, I'm sorry, everyone, but I thought that we had to have names in the hat by this meeting. You gave us direction for that.
Yeah.
Had to have our recommendations in to Sunny by this.
I think I stated the 12th, but
Okay.
today is the 11th. Tomorrow is 12th. So I just put the 12th, knowing that we were going to have this meeting today. So it's
Okay. Thanks for the correction, Commissioner.
yes.
And so, Commissioner, you made your, you have a recommendation for us?
I don't have a
I know
recommendation.
Commissioner Valentine.
I do. Epicure, and I think Mr. Killebrew is there. I'm sorry for not being in attendance in the room. However, I do have and had Sunny to attach a flyer to the agenda tonight, and I did ask Mr. Killebrew to come and speak.
And so we've got the data from Epicure inside of our agenda package under our tab for this item, and under tab 5 for the agenda. Mr. Killebrew, if you can, and can you come again? We're familiar with the cause, but if you can just give the abbreviated version of what's in place. We're going to give you the microphone first.
Mr. Gilbert, if you don't mind speaking into the microphone there, I've been advised that this microphone, you can barely hear it. So if you don't mind hitting that live button on the microphone. Thank you, sir.
It's
If it's blue, it's live.
Yes, sir, and speak into it.
I feel important. As I've said before, I don't think Commissioner Jones was here when we spoke before y'all before, were you?
I will.
Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize, but I just didn't remember. We've talked about Epicure before, but Epicure, I just wanted to give some fun facts about Epicure tonight. This year, well, let's go back to 2019, okay? Feeding Northeast Florida supplies us our food, supplies our food to us. The total pounds distributed for St. Johns County in 2019 was 1,734,000 pounds, or 1,734,635 pounds. Putnam County was, that was, 6.6% of the food was distributed here in Putnam County. 2020, Feeding Northeast Florida distributed 3,734,348. When Putnam County, there was 1,254,300, or 1,254,309, however you want to say that, okay? I'm just a little old country boy. Y'all don't throw me under the bus, okay? Compared to the 2019, 2020, 81% of that food came to Putnam County, out of the food that was totally distributed from Feeding Northeast Florida. Currently, we're distributing to 783 families every Friday out there at our warehouse. We're looking to take that warehouse and go to bigger and better things with it. When I came before, we're begging for money, and I'm begging for money again. Right now, we're doing 18 distributions in Putnam County. This past week, we did one in Flagler Estates, which is half Putnam, half St. Johns County. We just did one Wednesday down in South Putnam. We distributed to 200 families. The mobile distributions are 25,000 pounds apiece. Tomorrow, we'll be distributing here again in Putnam County, out there at the warehouse on North Highway 17. That's probably another 783 families. Commissioner McCaskill, she had called me and talked to me about this with the League of Cities. Is that what it's under?
The Northeast Florida.
Northeast Florida.
Yeah, League of Cities.
She had called and asked about that, and asked if we would be interested. And of course we are. So do y'all have any other questions about anything?
No, I can tell you, whenever you see all those cars lined up on 17, and you hear all the success stories and the amount of people that are being fed, there's not a whole lot more that needs to be said about the work that your organization does in this community. And so I know our deadline is tomorrow. As far as making the nominations, I'm in support of Epicure as well, just because of the great impact that's there, and just the number of people who are served and at what quantities. So any other comments from the commission?
Mayor, I'd like to say this, that we serve the community as a whole. There's nobody turned away from us, nobody. A lot of people comment about the nice fine cars that come in out there and get food, but a lot of those are coming in. I know one lady, she drives a brand new truck up every Friday, but she's getting for 8 families to take and distribute. And I know for a fact she distributes them to 8 different families. So this is a community. Yeah, it's not all Putnam or all Palatka, it's Putnam County, but it's the community as a whole.
But you know what, Mr. Killebrew? People with fine cars were impacted by this pandemic, just like people who may not necessarily be in a car.
Absolutely.
And so it touches everybody, and we just appreciate the work.
I certainly appreciate everything you guys do, and participated in a number of the food distributions. And again, you guys are doing a lot of things that other people should be doing. We have too many times people waste more than they actually give away. And in the process and the way that you guys handle everything, it's zero waste for the most part, because some of this food will be, like you say, will be going to landfills and different things of that nature. So you're also doing it from an environmental standpoint.
Absolutely.
In addition to feeding the people. So I definitely support that. I'm not voting on it tonight because I'm on the board. So I'm abstaining from any vote, but I am making a comment, and it's to help with Epicure Inc. To my fellow commissioners.
And actually, I think you can vote because there's not a personal gain for you in this whole process, so you don't necessarily have to abstain. Is there any other comments from the commission? Anyone else? Commissioner Campbell, Commissioner McCaskill?
Yes, Mr. Killebrew, I just want to thank you for all you all do. I don't have the opportunity to come out there and volunteer as much as I would like, but I do hear about the cars and the lineup and the impact that you all have on the quality of lives for the people in the city of Palatka. So thank you so much for what you all do and for coming out to speak again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Commissioner Campbell?
I also would say thank you as well. I know a lot of them that benefit from the services that is being provided by Mr. Killebrew and that whole team. So I definitely would be in favor with that if that was the recommendation that we would go along with.
It almost sounds like we are in, it sounds like there's a consensus.
Well,
as
I'm
to where
not,
we are.
Mayor, I won't be abstaining since it's not a personal, that's a good explanation. So if it's not a personal gain to me, then I can participate in it. I just didn't want to be on the board and also voting for it. But if it's not a personal gain to me, there's no conflict of interest. So
No, sir.
thanks for helping.
Mayor, could I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Is there a deadline for getting your choice into the Northeast Florida League of Cities?
Well, for me, I was just getting everything so I can get to them before our 18th meeting. They wanted to get that in by the 18th, so I had a deadline of the 12th to get everything to them by the 18th for our meeting.
Right.
So I didn't want to wait up. Yeah, I didn't want to wait up because we're not going to be meeting again until 2 weeks from now. So.
Right. I just wanted to make sure if we advertised that we were going to leave the suggestions or nominations open until the 12th, I just wanted to make sure that we had time to wait until after the 12th to get the information to Northeast Florida League of Cities.
Well, the information was coming from the commissioners.
Yeah, it was.
The nominations were coming from the commissioners, not from the community.
Right. And that's what we clarified in the last meeting. The commission would go out and seek 5013Cs to submit to the Northeast Florida League of Cities. Well, actually to vote on and to submit to the Northeast Florida League of Cities, and this commission would vote on that. So.
Okay. Then I stand corrected. If you want to move forward tonight, then I understand.
Yeah, it was Commissioner Boren's request to the commission just to give our nominations in. It wasn't anything that was open to the public for nomination.
Correct.
All right.
Well,
So-
I would make a correction. I'm actually looking at the minutes now. It was to be in today at February the 11th. The recommendation. So if we were to move forward, we would be in line what was actually printed in our minutes.
Okay. So is there a motion at this time from anyone from the commission?
So I'll move the motion to go ahead and nominate Epicure.
A second.
Yeah, I couldn't hear him.
Go ahead and restate it for us, Commissioner Jones.
So I so move to nominate Epicure Inc. to secure these funds from Northeast Florida League of Cities. At this time.
There's a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones, a second by Commissioner Boer. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Again, thank you again, and thank you, Commissioner Boer, for bringing that to our attention, and thanks for the hard work.
Mayor Hill, I know I didn't say anything a while ago about what the president of the chamber was speaking of, but if I might, I just wanted to say, being out there today and watching the work that's going on over there, you had 104, I believe it's 104 boats that we parked today, had 104 marshals that went out with those boats. Right. And then I was, the Bass Elite, when they're online, I just happened to come across that this morning, and that's going out worldwide.
I mean, I know y'all comprehend that, but for me to sit and watch that this morning, I mean, there was a young Asian boy standing on the dock watching his daddy go out this morning, and he was just standing there, and he was just waiting. It's the cutest thing you ever saw. But what was in the backdrop of that little boy sitting on the dock was the riverfront and the skyline of Palatka. Down there we have a skyline. Excuse me, right over there we have a skyline, and watching the lights and everything over there, and just in the fog, it was very beautiful this morning. And then for that to go into the first part of the day and just see the sun coming up and the riverfront coming alive. The people of the world saw Palatka, Florida today.
It's a sight to see.
Yeah, it was very beautiful, and the people that are coming to work and putting in their hard work, getting up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, coming down there, park boats, and then staying and getting things done. The City of Palatka Police Department, the Putnam County Sheriff's Department, all coming together and working as one team. It was just, it's very something. It's amazing to watch. I just wanted to add that. I'm sorry. I know I went over my 3 minutes.
Your 3 minutes were up 10 minutes ago. But it's the epitome of community. And again, Mr. Killebrew, we thank you, along with the rest of our community leaders, for sacrificing your time and putting it towards making Palatka just that much more of a unified community. And so again, thanks a lot for that work. And again, thank you for the work with Epicure as well as Prison Ministries and all the other things that you do in this community. And it's just a prime example of self-sacrifice, and we appreciate that. And we are looking forward to more great things.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you.
Same thing, sir.
Next up is item 6 of the agenda, which is our public hearing to adopt an ordinance 2021-01. You can go ahead and read the caption, Ms. Krantz.
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the City of Palatka amending Article 5, Division 1, generally Section 2, 281, definitions, and Section 2, 283, jurisdiction of the municipal code of the City of Palatka as it pertains to code enforcement, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for correction of scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date.
So move.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
So there's a motion on the floor, and is that a second by Commissioner McCaskill?
Yes.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor and a second. We're now open the floor for public hearing. Is there anyone here for public hearing? You can reach public hearing you can make your comments during public hearing by dialing 386-329-0100 extension 0, or the YouTube chat, or you can come forward. Seeing no one for public hearing, we're going to close public hearing. Commissioner Jones, you got a comment? We're ready for discussion.
Just with this change, definition, was there a reason for a change? Was there a reason for a change or a conflict? Or was there a conflict that's discovered in the language for this? I'm quite sure it was.
May I speak to that, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
The reason for the change is in order that we could empower a magistrate to hear code enforcement matters rather than only allowing the code enforcement board to hear those matters. So the language that's involved and the change that's involved is to allow us to move forward with a special magistrate. It does not eliminate the authority of the code board, but it does allow us to utilize the services of a special magistrate.
Any other questions? Does that answer your question, Commissioner?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Seeing no other questions at this time, we'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to section B, adopt resolution 2021 R16, agreement for special magistrate services. Ms. Grant?
A resolution of the City of Palatka, Florida, authorizing execution of an agreement for special magistrate services with Ronald W. Brown, Esquire.
I entertain a motion this time.
So move.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor by Commissioner Campbell. There's a second by Commissioner Boer. We're now open the floor for public hearings. Is there anyone here for public hearing? Seeing no one here for public hearing, we're going to close public hearing. Is there any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to city manager and administrative reports. Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be very brief, but then I would defer to a couple of department heads for some comments. I'll simply mention to you that we're continuing with our efforts to upgrade City Hall. We should be seeing installation of the new phone system, which has been discussed for years. The installation should actually start in the next literally day or two. It'll be a vast upgrade and will actually allow us to have hopefully effective phone services at our various stations. I'd like to defer to Mandy to tell you some good news about a grant, and then to Mr. Cutright to give you an update about code enforcement.
Ms. Tucker.
Okay, yes. So staff would like to share that Palatka has been selected to receive Community Development Block Grant Mitigation Funding to retrofit Price Martin Center to serve as an emergency shelter. The award amount is $1,176,315.
Okay, that's great news.
Yes.
Anything else? Anything else, Ms. Tucker?
No, that's.
And I know we've been working for years to get some funding in place to shore up the Price Martin Center as a shelter and to make sure that it meets certain qualifications. And so again, thank you and Mr. Griffin for your hard work on that endeavor.
Our pleasure.
Seems like if you don't get $1 million, then we're disappointed around here. So you guys kind of set the bar really high.
I know it's a bit of a detriment. We've set our own bar fairly high, but we keep meeting it, so that's good.
It's always great, especially when there's a minimal match. So again, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anybody want to top that? $1.2 million going once. Mr. Holmes, you got anything else?
Just again, deferring to Mr. Cutright, he wanted to provide an update on our code enforcement department, and I also wanted to thank Mandy and Jonathan for their continued hard work in the grant arena. They do an excellent job.
Definitely. We agree. It's on.
Well, the code enforcement department is coming around pretty good. We had Mr. David Green a couple weeks ago, and he's coming into shape. He's been working with the county code enforcement and also Green Cove. So he's learning a little bit on the fly. What we got going on with code enforcement, it's a complaint-driven system right now. And I know the commissioners have asked me a couple things about some places and people have called them. We encourage you to call in to us and give us a chance to get your complaint on file. It's a lengthy process, so we want you to understand that code enforcement is not a quick turnaround. It takes a couple of days for us to get out there and actually look at the property. And then we do a courtesy notice, so that's another 10 days. And then we do a voluntary compliance notice, that's another 30 days. So if you do the math, we're around 45 days to really see anything before we actually take it to the magistrate or to the code board. So the community need to understand that we're on one building a day. We're trying to put it together. My philosophy is, I look at it like this: how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So you have to be patient with us. We're working diligent to bring the city of Palatka back to the beautification that it used to be. And with the help of the commission, help of the city and the staff, we're gonna do it. But just gotta be patient with us. We have, as of October 1, we have done 27 cases. 4 has is going to the magistrate and next week. 7 has been voluntary compliance and brought up to speed. And then we have several of them out for different parts of the process. But we're looking at trying to definitely bring code enforcement back to the forefront. Defer to any questions if you have.
And just so people know, the 45 days isn't just for us. It's to protect the rights of the citizens and to make sure that we do things accordingly under procedural due process laws. And secondly, it gets us to a point where we get the voluntary compliance. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to be property owners. We just want compliance so that everyone lives in a better community.
I had one comment. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think you guys are doing a great job with what you currently have in place. But I do know a while back, we were discussing some of the things, I think, before you had taken over that. And I sent in a couple of suggestions from 2 cities that were doing it really well, from what I understood. Haines City, Florida, and I think they was recouping about $72,000 a year with their program. They have a very proactive program, and they have ways that they do track those, I guess, whenever they have a complaint or whatever it may be, they are able to track those and kind of understand where they're at in the process. And Jacksonville also, and I sent those in. I will re-forward those to you, Mr. Cutright, and the city manager, so that at least you'll have that information. You can kind of look at their information as well.
They actually grabbed the information, I know, from Haines City.
Yeah.
And so we definitely appreciate that.
And we encourage reaching out to other surrounding areas to see how it's done. I mean, I don't proclaim to invent anything. So if I can find a city or or a neighborhood or a county that's doing it well, why not mimic what they're doing?
Okay. Any other comments from the commission?
I think they're doing a great job. That's, I just thank y'all for taking forth the effort to help beautify our great city.
Go ahead,
Mr. Cartwright, I've reached out to you the last couple of weeks and you responded, and I appreciate it. But now that we have a magistrate that we just approved, a code enforcement officer, yourself, and an admin person over in your department, I know Rome wasn't built in a day, but when we start allocating those resources to you, we have some expectations that we put out there, and we have to actually, we encourage the citizens to actually self-report. But I explained this to someone before as the Hatfields and McCoys. You have a neighbor call in on another neighbor and then have us in the middle of that. And I am a person that would like to have more of, if you see something, you say something. So that means if here, commissioners, if we see something, we come and report it back to codes that need to be corrected, because it is our duty and it's our city. And the same with you guys in your department. Don't just ride by it. If you see something, we would like for you to say something. We would like for you to self-report. Now, I know to keep you busy and you probably would never have any downtime. We're not telling you every little thing, but it's the question always is asked, well, I know that they ride by this and they don't see it and they're not taking any action. Why we didn't have staff, we had to explain. We don't have staff. We don't have that excuse anymore. So we need to, I would like to see us being more proactive. And you're doing good with what you have. And we're gonna chew this elephant up together. Together, if we all get on it, we can eat it up a little quicker. So see something, say something, and you guys be proactive. I would love to see that happening so that you won't feel that we're attacking your department. It's a need. So, but keep doing the work. And I know we're on the ground floor right now, and I can say this, that David is doing a good job, because he called some of the residents that had been calling me, and they called me and told me that, hey, yeah, code enforcement had gotten with me. So I want to give you guys kudos on the follow-up. It's just like you followed up. So I wanted to say that on the record. All right. So thank you.
Well, Commissioner Jones, and that is duly noted. I'll definitely take that in heart. And we are trying to do that. As Dave was learning more and more, we're trying to get him to see things do that. But in the beginning of the stages, we wanted to keep it small So we build that SOP, that standard, so we understand how we grow together. But yes, we will start spot checking and seeing things ourselves too, but we still encourage everybody to call in. We still encourage everybody to voice their complaints to us so we can kind of work those systems, because we know the community of the city of Palatka needs a lot. And we know that it's going to take some time. And what we try to do when we see properties that's unsafe or unsecure, we act in. But other properties that can be grass or debris, we can't let that be complaint driven.
Prioritize, I understand.
Yeah. You gotta make sure the policy supports the sentiment of the commission, because the complaint-driven policy doesn't necessarily give him the option to do some of the other things that you're asking for. And so it may be an opportunity to review the policy to make sure it meets the sentiment. So
Mr. Mayor, can I speak?
Go ahead.
I guess I probably got more experience than anybody with the code enforcement department and process, having represented the county in its department for 17 years and the city for 20 before I became city manager. I'll just mention to you some of the things that we've encountered in the past, not just us, but others. We have a limited staff and a limited department. Now, of course, if the city finds more money and wants to fund that department at a higher level, then obviously our capacity will increase. But the reason that the complaint-driven system was implemented years ago, both at the county and city level, was because it eliminated the complaint that we received from the alleged violators that we were selecting their property to begin an action on, and they would then point out other properties and ask why we didn't select the other properties. The complaint-driven system allowed us an easy answer, which was we act based upon complaints. Now, obviously, as Mr. Cutright said, if it's a health safety issue that we see, one that's of overwhelming concern, code enforcement, has an obligation to move in. But by and large, the complaint-driven system was to avoid our being challenged with the objection that we picked out one property owner to start an enforcement action on. We did, the city, and we allowed another one with a very similar situation to go unchecked, understanding we couldn't digest all of them. So that's what the basis was. Obviously, the commission, we work for the commission. If the commission says that we should do it on a different basis, we will do our best. But again, we have a single code enforcement officer, Mr. Cutright helping out where he can, and then of course one admin person. So right now, the amount of complaints, the amount of cases we can actively work and take through with the process that you're required to employ, it's limited. So with that in mind, I'll just explain why we are complaint driven. And again, if you decide that policy should change, we will change it.
Thank you. Anything else from the commission? All right. Appreciate it, Mr. Cutright. Thank you for all your time. Anything else, Mr. Holmes?
I'm sorry, no, sir, thank you.
Anything from HR?
No, sir, thank you.
Do you have anything for the fire department?
Nothing tonight, sir. Thank you.
Nothing from PPD. Anything from finance? Mr. Griffith?
Nothing, sir.
The airport?
I don't see Mr. Yule on.
Legal? Anything from council? Anything, Ms. Krantz?
We do have one birthday shout out. It'll be Aaron Hughes's birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday
Happy
tomorrow.
birthday.
Anything, Ms. Thomas?
Yes, sir. I filed 4 nuisance abatement cases. We're getting compliance in 3 of them. One, we're going to move for a default So we may move that for demolition, but the other three, we've gotten voluntary compliance from the property owners.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Continued progress. I think that covers. Ms. Fisher.
Hi, I don't have anything at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Ms. Tucker.
I don't have anything further than what I talked about earlier. Thank you.
Pastor Mulberry. I think that covers everybody. I'm going to go to Commissioner Campbell.
I have nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I called Mr. Griffith. Mr. Griffith, you didn't have anything, right?
No, sir, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner McCaskill?
Nothing tonight. Thanks, Mayor.
Commissioner Borum?
Well, didn't they just have Police Athletic League and the Palatka Recreation Department had this golf tournament? Y'all want to speak about that? Because I do know that.
You can stay. You can speak from back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 minute. Today's going to be your first.
Fail that test. We had the golf tournament on January 30th. The Recreation Department and the Police Athletic League had a good turnout. We had 68 golfers. It came up to about 18 to 19 teams. We had a wonderful day. Pictures will be on our Facebook page here shortly of the commissioners and some of the chief fire department and everybody doing some golfing. But it's going to a wonderful cause. We're trying to raise money to help give the kids something to do in their youth programs from Recreation High and also the PAL side. I don't know what else to say.
Thank you. You don't have to say anything else. Great job.
All right.
And so again, great job to you. Great job to all the volunteers. We appreciate that. Great job, Chief. Great job, pal. Thank you so much. It's the first time you said something in 45 seconds. And we work. But no, in all seriousness, that was I think a great tournament. Also, shout out to Andy Hartz and the golf course for the work that they did as well, and helping put on that golf tournament, as well as Delta Sigma Theta and some of the other volunteers that were there, that I'm sure Mr. Cutright couldn't get out in a minute. So again, thank you. Commissioner Borum, anything else?
That's basically what I had. And I'd like to thank Mr. Cutright for taking me under his wing. He knew from the very start, I did put it on record that I was a handicap, and I truly was a handicap because I bought mulligans right out of the box. So
you can't buy that many mulligans.
But that's all I have. I appreciate him for helping me through a very dismal day out there on the course. But
you said you did well. You shot a 200. Commissioner Jones.
Chief Shaw too.
In reference to being a newbie on the board, I really appreciate doing the business. Excuse me. Yeah, I have a comment. Being a newbie on this board, newly elected commissioner, I do have some, I think I gave it to city manager, something like a wish list. And I would like for the commission, along with the city manager, to have somewhat of an open meeting where we could kind of like talk about the state of the city, the state of the departments as a whole, so that in the city meeting, the way we have it, we allow the department heads to kind of talk to us and tell us what they have going on, what are their challenges, and so forth and so on, so that we can hear collectively as a group of commissioners. I know we get information disseminated through to us, but I think that sitting down, listening at the mission of the city in the direction that we're headed, I know we have a lot of different things, and to bring it into this 1 hour meeting, sometimes it just don't be enough. And I'm just speaking on behalf of a newly elected commissioner. And I know I'm talking to the senior board here. However, to just give my comments on that. I would like to know how the commission feel about it. Would they feel the same, or is that something that comes at a later date, or something that you, Mayor, or Commissioner, that have pondered or have something in the near future that you were going to do? If not, I would like to initiate that and have that happen sometime here in the near future.
Anybody want to?
Yeah, I mean,
Anybody want to comment? Go
I'll
ahead.
make a comment, but he brings up a good point, because those are some of the things that I've been asking for a number of times. And, we get intermittent information. I hate to constantly be pushing. And we get intermittent or inconsistent information a lot from a reporting standpoint. That's why, I've always asked for different reports and different things of that nature, and commissioners, he's exactly on point. So I share that same sentiment. So whatever we can do to help support Commissioner Jones, in addition to what I've sent in, and other commissioners too. We've all asked for information on a consistent basis, but sometimes we just don't get it. And we get a lot of different things coming to us from a report standpoint. But if we get it in a report standpoint, we'll be able to speak to the community a little bit better about some of the great things that we're doing. We get it in verbally, but we don't get it where we can have it on, we can read it back or regurgitate it to the community if there's any questions, what we're doing.
Commissioner Campbell McCaskill.
I share sentiment. I think that we have, as long as we can keep a consistent leader, and I think that we have that now, that we can move forward into making this happen, bringing this to fruition.
I also agree with exactly what Commissioner McCaskill has stated with the leader that we have now. I do think it will be something that would go forth. Keeping in mind, we have had some hiccups with our city leaders. So again, with stability now, I feel that we would move forward. I oftentimes talk about the things that we talk about things when they're hot, and when they're not, we put them on the back burner. But I think Mr. Holmes is doing a fantastic job with keeping in mind the things that we have individually requested as a commission.
And just kind of close it out, Commissioner Jones. I don't think that your request is one that needs to be put on the back burner. One of the things that we try to do here, although the ordinance talks about 2 commissioners calling special meetings or workshops and all that other stuff, or the mayor can call it. This commission has always been one to say that if it's a commissioner that brings up something to us and we want to get something, we want to put something in place, then we're always supportive of one another in doing that. And if it's on your heart to get all of our department heads here, we support it. I think the other thing is we've had many conversations about a new visiting session, and I think it's the right time to do it, and that can be a part of what's in place. And it may be necessary. We talked about seeing if we could get the league to facilitate that, so that as we have those department heads in the room, we can all continue to put the vision together. We've talked to the Florida League of City about that process as well. COVID kind of hampered that during that time. But conversation is always good. I think it's always good to continue on, and we continually have the conversation about the need for a PIO to be able to tell the story of the city. But if it's something that you want to do, we're all supportive of it. I think it's something that this entire commission wants to do, is to continually get a new snapshot of where we are and really where our staff is. I mean, I've had conversations on a regular basis with different people from different departments, and it's always something that's ever changing, and it's always new things that happen here. I think we spend more time putting out fires than we actually do sometimes doing the things that are part of our daily job. So I think we're on board with that. I think Mr. Holmes would share that sentiment as well. Overall, then, we're open to doing whatever the commissioner, we'll look at it, and we're open to supporting you in the endeavor. And we're just trying to push it forward.
Thank you.
Did anyone have anything, other comments?
I would like to, along with that, in the process of setting that up, I would like for it not to be on a commission night, how we normally would have meetings prior to or workshops prior to, because again, this is something that we need to give great consideration to when having this. And again, we want to make sure that we have ample enough time to have the discussion that is needed in order for staff to do what it is that they need to make sure that our voices are implemented in some of the things that we want to see changed around the city.
Well, my suggestion would be that if we do it so that we don't have our staff coming in here and staying after hours, that we try to implement it and do it during the workday. So, and it's going to cause the commission to sacrifice as opposed to our staff having to miss time off of their day or stay after. And so, if we can try, and so if the commission's up to that, then I'd rather for us to make the sacrifice than them to have to stay after work to be able to sit and talk to us.
I'm for it. I support that wholeheartedly. So
I'm too in support of that. I'll make that sacrifice.
Well, to help facilitate that, I would suggest that we as commissioners, excuse me, Mayor, I forgot to ask.
No, you're good. Go,
We as the commissioners basically come up with 4 or 5 things that we would like to see happen here in the city, improvements or process improvements. And like Don said, he would be more than happy to see if we could change processes or we could get things in the charter, or not charter, in the SOPs or whatever, when we're trying to help different departments establish these things. So if we could have 3 or 4 or 5 things that each commissioner can say, well, this is what we want to see done, we're probably going to have 2 or 3 of the same ideas or goals once we sit down in a room together. Because of sunshine, we cannot sit around and talk about it. We can't communicate any other way. So I think this would be a brainstorming session where we'll get it all on one accord and we'll be able to move things forward. And I guarantee you, when we sit down, we're going to have some of the same goals in mind, but we just need to have that sit down. And I think that our staff is going to appreciate this process as well, because we're giving them direction as well. I mean, and guess what? We have professional staff out here that probably can bring some things to the table that we haven't thought about. So the one-on-ones don't work well with me, collective as a group, because we are a team, and that's what we'll move forward as a team. So I just wanted to put that out there. So, all right, thank you for the time.
And then the last thing in closing, I tell you is it's probably not going to get done in one session because there's going to be follow-ups that come from it. And I can tell you that we're probably going to get more out of listening to our staff than we do out of listening to ourselves, because they're the ones on the ground. They're the boots on the ground, and they're locked and loaded with ideas that half the time never make it to us, or they never give it to anyone else. And I think if they understand that we're a commission that's going to listen to the staff and that we're a team, then you'd be surprised at what you get out of it. And so, anything else, Commissioner Jones?
That'll be it. Thank you.
I waived my report. I'm just excited that we're moving forward. Let's continue to stay safe. Let's continue to take the necessary precautions. COVID is still moving forward in this community and around this country. We are losing people at record numbers around here. And so we just want everybody to just continue to practice positive hand health and social distancing. And again, thank you to Mr. Holmes, Mr. Griffith, everyone for putting the dividers up here. And as we move forward and try to be an example of what we need to do. So again, thanks everybody. Stand adjourned.